what I love, I'm just thinking about what you're saying and how to do this in a practice. And I think for so many of us, because when we become adults, we're like, oh, I shouldn't feel that way, or I should just get over it. And we're always talking to ourselves in that way, versus if you can imagine yourself as a little one, it
So,
makes it,
Karen, let's
yeah,
do that. Can we
okay,
take 5 minutes?
sure.
Okay, let's do that right now because I am telling you it is. It's powerful. So for anybody listening, if you're driving, don't do this. But if you can take 5 minutes to just close your eyes and imagine your 4-year-old self, and big, wide, innocent eyes and curiosity and openness to what people are telling you. And, you're just right there. And just imagine that sweet child standing in front of you, 4 years old. And now, just because we're doing this as a group, now say to her some of the negative things you say to yourself. You're dumb. You can't do this. Who are you to think you're so good? You're fat. I hate my body. Whatever. Okay, you get it. What are the negative things you say to yourself? And say this to this little 4-year-old. And is that fair?
Mm,
Are any of those things true? That's who you're talking to when you have negative self talk. You're not really talking to your adult self that can, quote, get over it. You're repeating often from early on negative things that now you're adopting and you're doing to yourself. So we can stop that right now. You would never do that to a child, would you?
no, no,
You
no,
would
it's hard.
never
It's hard.
deliberately make them feel less than or unworthy or right. So we never ever do that to yourself again. Isn't that powerful when you realize, oh, that little innocent, oh my God.
That's huge,
Yeah. I
actually.
mean, and it applies to so many different things. I'm just thinking about myself as the oldest of six children, right? And how at times you can be jealous of someone else because you feel like they're getting the toy, or you have to share the toy with someone else, or share your parents' attention with someone else, or you get the hand-me-down versus getting the new clothes. Like, it can really imprint in so many different levels, so that when that jealousy triggers you, you think it's an adult jealousy, but it really isn't. It really stems from that early on experience.
And I love how you guys are so great, and the way you just weave the conversation and make the connections. And so it would show up, like, let's say that having to share your toy, or having to share everything, right? And me too, grew up in a big family, have to share everything. It shows up now in adulthood when, like, let's say you go out to dinner and somebody wants a bite of your food, right? Like, you think, why does that bother me? Because, it's just that I just don't want to share right now, or whatever, right? Don't make me share, or whatever it is. It's that little child that was made to. And now, to be polite, you're like, oh, sure. But really, what you're saying is, no, back off. Or feeling, and that's just an example.
Yeah, it goes to the
But
people pleasing.
see how
If
it
you're,
shows up, though.
yeah, the people pleasing thing. Or I know for me, it's always feeling like I have to do for others because I was the oldest, and
Yep.
helping
Yep.
mom, the other kids, and feeling like that was my role to be
Yep.
valuable because I was the oldest, and that was my job in a way, my
Yes.
role to play in the family. And how you realize, like, gosh, you think it's just your behavior today, but when you really, really look at the triggers in particular, they always can be traced back.
And you guys are super intuitive, and I know most of your listeners are for sure. So it's like you'll know what when you that trigger will tell you what that wound is. You know,
Mhm.
and really, even if you don't know what it is, it doesn't matter. All you need is comfort.
Mhm.
you know so like sharing, it's like, I've given myself full permission to not have to share anymore. Like, honey, you don't have to. you know I mean,
Yeah.
you know, if I don't mind, I don't mind. But you know what I mean? It's like I don't have to. It's
Well,
like, oh, well,
yes.
now I don't mind.
Well, and
You
I
know,
even
now
I
it's coming from my heart rather than expectation or that belief or that imprinting from childhood.